Okay, there seems to be a bit of a delay. Sorry about that. So, welcome to my channel. I started this hoping, well, just to give a little preview. I've actually attempted to make videos already, but unfortunately, I've run into a lot of issues, whether it be the editing software isn't supported by YouTube, stuff like that. Technical mishaps on my part. So, hopefully, this live streaming stuff will get better. I'll get a better room, better audio, better visuals. That's the hope. So we'll see how things go. Welcome again. If you're here from Captain Havoc's channel, thank you for coming. I appreciate the support. If you're not here, please go check out Captain Havoc's channel. He does Bleach YouTube videos. He's also going to be doing other anime and manga content. So he's a good friend, and I appreciate what he did for me. We did a joint video, and go check it out, please. But without further ado, my 2 cents. So, starting off, I just wanted to do a review of the Bleach One Shot. I'm not going to do page by page, just because everyone's kind of already done it and it's been out for a while. If you do want to read it, you can check out DBZ Imran, Mr. Tomo. They did chapter by chapter reviews. We'll also be talking about DBZ Imran a little bit later as well. But to continue on, just to keep things rolling here, I do want to say that any support is appreciated. Please leave reviews, whether it be about the audio or something like that. The only way to get better is by critique, so I would appreciate that. But starting off, so I want to say I'm giving the Bleach chapter 8 out of 10. Now, it's for 2 reasons, and those reasons kind of have to be big for me to deduct that 2 points from a total of 10. Or some people I know evaluate things by working up, so that's one way. I like to work down, so like I'll give something a 10 just because it's a piece of art, and then I'll deduct points based off of things that I see that are issues, or sometimes in opinionated parts just because I don't like it. But to move on, the 2 big things are Yamamoto being in hell and Zangetsu. Now, the caveat about these 2 things are, well, they're both kind of things that can change. So the chapter can get better if we get more information, or Kubo expands on what he's already written. So talking about Yamamoto, first of all, he shouldn't exist. That's number 1. Yamamoto was killed by Quincy using Quincy abilities. Therefore, his soul should be destroyed. That is what we're told Quincy's do. That is what they were made for, essentially, for Yuha's plan to work. Souls need to be destroyed, so it creates an imbalance. Now, the problem is, I know I've seen some people say, well, maybe Yamamoto's soul is too strong to be outright destroyed like that, but it was Yuha, and Yuha completely obliterated the body, so that's a problem in and of itself. The other issue with Yamamoto being in hell is not just that his body was physically obliterated, but he was confirmed more or less. I know they did the spiritual. It says they did the spiritual burial, but there is no confirmation of souls actually moving. I think that that's also a problem. If there was a confirmation of souls moving, then these people would know that they're going to hell. There wouldn't need to be a wondering about a wives' tale, because we would be able to confirm it if that's exactly where we know they go, if we know they move back into the cycle or not. So that's an issue. But just to kind of to talk more about it, in the sense that Yamamoto represents a lot about Bleach. He's the old guard, the dark history we hear about, and him dying was something very important thematically to the story, especially the 1,000 Year Blood War. But to be fair to Kubo, trying to help the situation, I've seen some people say it, that in regards to talking about souls being destroyed, generally whenever that was brought up, it was brought up when speaking about hollows. That is true, but there kind of was never a attempt at showing us a discrimination between Do Soul Reaper souls get destroyed when they're killed by Quincy's? Like, what is the actual lore in that? So that's one way. So basically, Kubo can turn around and say, well, souls only get destroyed if they're hollows. It's the particular thing about hollows and Quincy's being counters to each other. So that's one thing. That could be an excuse, but I mean, hey, like I said, these things can change, so that's why it takes a lot of points away, because they kind of break the lore, but at the same time, Kubo can technically retcon them or change them in a way that it would still fit, even with the things we've been shown or heard to be true. Moving on to the Zangetsu thing. Now, this one seems a little iffy, because I know some people have their own theories about it, and that the version of Zangetsu we see in the one-shot is a seal form, and that's awesome. I love that concept. I'm excited to see if Zangetsu gets a release command for the Shikai, which would be awesome. I'm so excited about that thought. Something like, I don't know, sever the chains, change my fate, something along those lines, Ichigo's motif. But Kubo should have shown us something, shown us the release, or give us a hint that this is the seal form, because if we're taking in kind of all the information we get from the end of Bleach, including the Bleach Brave Souls mobile game, it is kind of implied that in the game that's his Bankai. Like, almost like he's in a constant Bankai release. The other issue with that is simply that the blade we see that actually cuts through Yuha. So if everyone's holding on to the theory that when Zangetsu passes through Yuha and Yuha breaks the outer shell, that is now Ichigo's permanent Bankai. That base blade that looks like Soul Society Zangetsu. But there's a couple issues with that. One, the handle is different. The wrapping is different. And the shape of the blade isn't exactly like the Soul Society version. So we have a couple issues already. If that really is Zangetsu, the final form, that creates a problem. Also, if that is a constant release Bankai, Ichigo, no matter how much nerfing they do to him, he shouldn't be able to exist there. He shouldn't be able to go back to the human world without any issues. So, I think that definitely also leans more towards the fact that it definitely is a sealed form, but Kubo should have shown us that, because we don't have that much information since the end of Bleach before. So he could have done that a lot better. And really, those are my only two gripes about the series. He could have explained things a little bit more, and I know it's kind of like a one-shot to kind of pull people in and get them tempted to continue on, which, I mean, I think it worked. I think it's fantastic. I'm all revved up and ready to go about it. But unfortunately, those are all my two negatives. I wanted to get the two negatives out of the way quick, because, I mean, the negatives, there's only two of them. So, but now on to everything I liked, which is everything. Everything from the lieutenants, Ichigo flexing, the Hell Butterfly. These are all concepts that, like, I definitely wanted to see in the one shot, and I got, and that made me so happy. So thinking on it, like, first of all, the new lieutenants, Yuyuhara, Atao, I think is how you say the name. Atao, awesome. These characters are unique, especially in Bleach. We have one character who has a disability, and who has a cool way of releasing Shikai. We have another who may be using Hakuda, not completely sure. It may be her Zanpakuto, because she has the little painted nails. I mean, claws or nails for a Shikai, that'd be interesting. But when she tore out the groin of that hollow, it freaked me out for a second, I'm not gonna lie. And then we had the scene where she, how do you put it? She lopped off the head of the hollow, but some people said that they think she, like, ate the head and it was gone. But I mean, you can clearly see the head of the hollow in the panel. So that's, I don't know, but the head's gone, basically. So it's a cool ability. If it's Hakuda, then her Hakuda is... Ooh. The last time we saw Hakuda ability that powerful was Yamamoto breaking up Wonder Weiss with the one bone and two bone punches. So that's going to be a cool character to look for. Also, Lisa herself is pretty advanced in Hakuda, and she's Lisa's lieutenant. So that might be a motif Kubo is going to continue with Squad 8. Interested to see that. Atao probably has the biggest hype of all the new characters. we've seen, aside from Kazui, probably. Everyone's talking about Tao and how cool his Zanpakuto is and the potential for his Zanpakuto. I mean, like, what if he can summon dragons? Are we gonna get a nice cool tie-in between Burn the Witch and Bleach for dragons? Who knows? But the lieutenants, a positive. Ichigo flexing. I would have preferred to see like the Hollow completely obliterate, like we see like Aizen do with that Soul and Fate Karakura Town. But I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right? Ichigo still obliterated the Hollow with like no difficulty. And if the Chains of Hell are just as powerful as they were in the movie, Ichigo broke those things with a swing of his sword with no difficulty. That's terrifying. So we definitely have a lot to look forward to in that. The butterflies, I have to say, I remember making note that I thought it was interesting that the hell butterflies were called hell butterflies and not spirit or rail like everything else. But never really thought of anything after that. Like, I think that was most people's reaction. Like, oh, they're called hell butterflies. Is it because they're black? Nah, who cares? They're just there to communicate, is what we always assumed. So it's interesting to see that little aspect. Like Kubo, probably even if Kubo didn't have this plan from the start and that was just a thing, it shows his creativity in being able to take that and go with it. I think that's fantastic. It's impressive, and I'd say like it shows Kubo's ability to adapt his story. Now, a lot of people already know the unfortunate part of being rushed and his health and everything like that, but I still think as far as like being rushed and everything like that, his adaptation of what he wanted to do was still well done. Could have been done better, and I think most of us agree it failed in some parts, talking about the 1,000-Year Blood War, but ultimately it's still probably the most popular arc among hardcore Bleach fans. Now if you're kind of like what you would call a Gen 1er in Pokemon, you're probably a Soul Society arc fan, but I mean everyone has their own favorites. I know people that Fullbring is their favorite, Arrancar is their favorite because of Aizen and stuff like that. Everyone can have their own favorites, and that's fantastic. I think that's what makes Bleach great, that someone can pick a arc and name off these tons and tons of likes and positives that those arcs have over the others. So I think that just shows good adaptability by Kubo. But onto my thing I think I loved the most about this one shot was that like quick little instant of Ichigo, Rangiku, and Renji just kind of, like the rest of us do, sit and talk, getting ready for work or something like that, and we're gonna go out for drinks after. For most of us, like, I wouldn't say most of us, but a lot of Bleach fans, we started out watching Bleach when we were young, we were kids, and some teenagers, and we grew up, and now we have jobs, careers, and now so does Ichigo. It's this really cool thing of the character growing with us, and I think it's really impressive that Kubo added that. For a lot of people, it would seem inconsequential, but those quiet moments are what stories need. Oftentimes, they will enhance other parts of the story later, or retroactively make other parts better. Like, every time I read that one shot and I get to that point, I think of Chad and Shunsui's moment in Soul Society arc. Him offering him a drink, him saying he's too young, but now our characters can drink. It's an interesting concept, and this may somehow enhance something later. Maybe we'll find out that Rangiku and Ichigo grew closer in that time span that we've been away. Maybe Ishin, Toshiro, Rangiku spend more time with each other. I know a lot of us were hoping for some kind of interaction once we found out about their past. So maybe that did happen. Maybe what the fans wanted actually occurred, and we'll get more of that. It could enhance the story further. And when I think of that moment, I think of other ones like in comic books of like Superman and Batman on the rooftop having the conversation about Lois being pregnant in the Injustice series. It's a fantastic moment that actually increases and makes the events of Injustice more heartbreaking but more potent to the fan base. It's a sad moment, but it's also beautiful. And I think this may be one of those things. Again, it may seem inconsequential because nothing happens. There's no fight. There's no additional lore aside from Ichigo, Rangiku, and Renji like to drink together. It might seem inconsequential, but I think it may have an actual important aspect to play into later. Going further, I wanted to talk about the other thing that I don't think gets appreciated from Kubo, in the sense that he's really good at doing fights. Now that seems like, yeah, manga, especially shonen, they do fight, so you have to be good at drawing fights. But Kubo did a really good job of drawing, I think, in FKT, and he shows it here again in the one shot, of congruent fights happening at the same time and characters being able to play off each other and use their abilities to not just help themselves but their teammates. It's interesting when the new captains kind of do their thing together. I mean, the new lieutenants do their thing together. It was really impressive where a Tao destroys a hollow, Yu Yu Haru jumps on the hollow, shattering the bones that were left, then goes into her attack, and then in the background we have more lieutenants fighting, and Akon destroys and blows out the legs of one hollow. The other hollow tries to use that as a distraction to attack Akon, but then Kira comes out of nowhere. He cuts up his foot, I think it's 7 times, and his foot becomes heavy, and he smashes the head of this bird hollow. That's awesome. Like, Kubo really should do team fights more often. I know another good one, Gerard versus some of our favorite, the most popular captains, Byakuya, Kenpachi, and Toshiro. They ganged up on him in a fantastic way of just, it was almost like an RPG of Kenpachi leading the way as the tank, Toshiro being the mage as backup, and then the attacker being Byakuya. It's a fantastic thing, and I think Kubo should definitely do more of them. Going into my predictions, we'll definitely get into that a little bit more. But as far as things I liked from the chapter, those are the things I liked. Those are the massive positives. I'm not really going to touch on Kazui and Ichika because kind of everyone has, and we don't know enough. I think it's interesting, again, that Ichika saw the Hellspawn before anyone else, but Kazui definitely has something going on. I don't know. It's going to have something to do with imbalance again. I really hope it's not Kazui being airheaded like his mother. I wouldn't like that, but I mean, that's just me. I know some people kind of like that naivety of him being a child, but I'm interested to see how Ichigo is a dad. Is he going to be like Ishin? Is he going to be more like Masaki? I'm definitely interested to see where that goes. One other big thing I liked, I was looking forward to, was Ichigo. When Ichigo, not Ichigo, when Renji looks at Xyle, and that's that one shot of Xyloporo, however you want to say the name. It looks like he has a sun or a halo around him. And I love the new angelic look of the hollows or the ghouls, or I like to say hellspawn. It's a fun word to say, and I like it better. It describes them better. It looks like a sun, and I guess this is a good transition. I'm really looking forward to the chimeric, biblical style hollows and hellspawn we're going to get. The whole yoke being on the outside, I think, is a fantastic idea, and it leads me into this third part of the video where I talk about my predictions and expectations for the series going forward. First of all, I want to open with, if you haven't seen, I don't know what the official theory is called yet. It might be the Hell Reverse Theory or Heaven Reverse Theory, but if you go and check out DBZ Imran's video on Hell, it's great. It's well put together. And towards the end, he talks about a theory, and going off that theory, I want to make a prediction about where this Bleach One Shot's going. I think Kubo is going to work his way into an apocalypse story because he really seems to want to delve into his more horror side that we've seen him kind of do with Ion and one of the best Sternritter in Courage, or however you want to say his name, Sternritter J, the jail. But I want to point to Bleach Can't Fear Your Own World, Volume 1. At page 222, it's the rhetoric that Tokinata gave Michibana about Soul Society, what to tell the cultists. And what we see is them start to refer to Soul Society as hell or not heaven as they expected it. And I think I find that interesting, especially with where we're going in this Hellverse and the things we're finding out about it. Especially because it's coming from Tokinata, someone who has knowledge of Hell who has knowledge of the way the multiverse or cosmology of Bleach was supposed to be. I think that makes it interesting, and I think it's a good thing because obviously Narita was given a little bit of direction from Kubo. I don't know how much, but this may be one of those things. I'm excited to see it. But Kubo takes from Christianity, Buddhism, and I think it's Shintoism when making Bleach and the cosmology it works under. Those three things have in common an apocalypse or judgment day. Now, this is my prediction. I think, based on a certain part of Buddhism, there is an apocalypse about the seven suns. That the suns will begin to destroy the earth, and more congruent suns will come along to further do more destruction. Kind of like the seven seals in Christianity and stuff like that. I think those also are going to be our villains for this arc. I think we're going to have 7 villains, and each of them, it goes back to the Xyle point of it looks like a sun or a halo behind him, and I think that's going to be the motif for these Hellspawns. So probably all our villains are going to be former Hollows. Looking at that, I'm excited to see where it goes. I think these 7 suns are going to be the things that completely imbalance the world. It may actually come out to be the Kushinada, which I think are what the Soul Reapers become when they go to Hell, because it makes sense as being the Guardians. I think that is what they're going to be. Now, moving further into his prediction, I think it's going to take some of our more powerful characters, the big ones, the Ichigos, Uryu, Shinsui, Kenpachi. I think they're actually going to have to fight because there's only going to be 7. 3, they're going to have to gang with 3 to 4 people on these people, and I think Kubo's ability to do these gang fights, I think, is going to really lend to that. I think if anyone plays Dragon Age Inquisition, or plays the Dragon Age series in at all, you'll notice that there's the Fade, and there's the real world, or the waking world, whatever you want to call it. Spoilers for that if you haven't played it, so click off. Solus is attempting to tear down the veil, and in Dragon Age Inquisition we recently found out that it's been, I think, more than 8 years now, but we found out that the Fade and the world were originally one. Same thing with Bleach, that Hell and these other worlds were originally kind of together. I know Hell was already existing, but there was a different dynamic between the worlds, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to try to realign things the way they should be, and I think that's similar to that in Dragon Age, where when Solus tears down the veil, the Fade will flood back into the world and reconnect to where it's supposed to be. And I think we're going to see that here in Bleach. I think when Hell spills over, I think the world is, for the first time, we're going to see like the world of the living actually fully be affected by Hell, and these 7 suns are going to be the focal point, similar to like the 4 pillars in FKT that hold Hell and Earth together, and I think that's what's going to happen. Or this might be Soul Society. Hell might spill back over into Soul Society the way it's supposed to be. I would definitely go check out again DBZ Imran's video. He definitely has goes more into it. He has the tweets and the translations and stuff like that, so please check out his video on it. That's my official prediction. The apocalypse of 7 suns, and basically I think things are going to change in the Bleach cosmology. Going further, I think Kubo is going to still do his typical writing style. Awesome action with deep lore and some comedy sprinkled in. I'm hoping for some Yoruichi fan service. I think we all are at this point, because huge Yoruichi fan. And I also think, again, the outfit designs for the characters are going to change. I'm looking forward to that so much, because when it comes to fashion, Kubo's the best, I think, in my opinion. Trying not to be a fanboy. I love Bleach. It's clear to see. I love the 1,000-Year Blood War outfit. So, again, those are my predictions, my expectations. I really don't expect Kubo to go too far out of his comfort zone when it comes to his writing style. But at the same time, I think this is going to be the big change, because he's done things in increments of, like, the gang attempts to invade Soul Society. And they're successful, but they don't really do much. They're still captured. Aizen successfully not only invades Wakamundo, but he invades the world of the living, and then Fate Karakura Town as a god. He attempts to get to the Soul Palace and meet the Soul King, kill the Soul King. Yuha does those things, fully invades Soul Society, destroys it, and then becomes and kills the Soul King, and then becomes the Soul King. I think this is going to be that final increment of Yuha attempted to destroy the world and bring it back to the way it was, in a way. And I think whoever is running this, whether, I know some people think the Warden of Hell is going to be some character. I don't know about that. The official Viz translation is Gallows of Hell, see everything, but there may actually be a warden separate of that. I think of wardens as, actual officers and a warden, and I think that's the Kushinada. But I think there is going to be a soul in hell who is working against the way things are, the status quo, which I don't mind. I'm excited to see it. But again, thank you guys for coming. I'm going to end the live stream. Like I said, I had video editing problems, so this may be the way I do it. I'm just learning how to do this. So next time I'll probably have my screen up and we can look at things, and I'll do a screen share so we can kind of follow along in the same thoughts. Appreciate Captain Havoc for showing up in the group chat. The stream chat. Thank you, man. I'll be talking to you later. And have a good day, guys. Looking forward to the future. Be safe.